Hey, so this is my video about dreams because of Shane Dawson's video about Talking Twinkies, but no. Anyway, I have some really weird dreams sometimes. The other night, I had a dream which actually started off quite normally. Bear with me with this because it will sound quite boring at first, but it actually is quite funny. Basically, I was playing this computer game where I had to build up my own civilization, and I was doing really well. I had like thousands and thousands in my population, and then all of a sudden everyone started dying, and I have no idea why this happened, but then I suddenly got sucked into the game, and I was kind of like an observer. Nobody could see me, and so I was just walking around, and I eventually found the last remaining citizen of my little civilization thing. And I followed him around for a bit, stalkerish, and then eventually this kind of tribe of people that were kind of people but they weren't really people started talking to him and told him that he'd got to come with them. Yeah, I know this is slightly weird. It's the best bit is still to come though. And I make that sound like this is the most amazing story in the world. No, seriously, anyway. So yeah, they like took him to this camp thing which they had for all these kind of people which weren't quite people. I don't really know what they were, but they weren't human. They looked it, but they weren't. Like a Time Lord, but like a bad Time Lord. There was like this giant bamboo cage, and it had loads of women in it, but they were human women. They weren't like these weird human sort of things. They were actually human women. And they basically told the guy that they ate humans, but that he was the last remaining male human in the world. So he basically got to go and get all these women pregnant so that they could have loads of little kids and they would have like more humans to eat. And if he didn't do that, then they'd just kill him and eat him anyway. So, and this is the funny bit, right? They put him in the cage, and then all of a sudden, for no apparent reason, he turned into Robert Pattinson. And then it was as though someone had switched the fast forward button on. He just started humping all these women. And seriously, it's one of the funniest things you have ever seen. And what was even funny that he kept going on, and it was so fast. Eventually he made his cock bleed. And I know some people will be just like, oh my god, Sophie, what are you on about? But I can imagine one person will be like, humping and fast forward, bleeding cocks, Claire. Yeah. Anyways, I'll tell you like the freakiest dream that I've ever had. The dream in itself wasn't that freaky, but basically I dreamt that one of my friends was stabbed, and the same night my friend Lauren dreamt that she was stabbed, which was really freaky. We were like freaking out for ages afterwards. It's kind of weird. I remember I once had a dream as well where I turned into Snow White. Not really quite sure where that was heading, but yeah. Another weird dream I've had was when I was about 4 or 5, and that was the dream which made me scared of the dark. I'm kind of like over that fear now, but for a long time during my childhood I was scared of the dark, and it was because of this dream, right? I'd gone on a school trip, and we'd gone to a museum, and there were lots of like little artifacts and stuff that you find in museums generally. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this crocodile just came in and started eating all the artifacts, and then started eating all of my class. Which, when you're like 4 or 5, is really freaky. I mean, it's not exactly normal in for any age, but when you're 4 or 5, that's shit scary. And the worst bit was when I woke up from the dream, I don't know how it happened, but I saw the crocodile in my room. I freaked and tried to climb up my wall. And there was also the dream where I was with a group of people that I didn't know. I knew them in the dream, but in real life I don't know them. And we were running along a train track. I guess if you were on a train track you probably would run because you wouldn't want to get hit by a train. Or possibly the most sensible thing would be to get off the train track. But anyway, we were running along a train track. and miraculously we didn't get hit by any trains. And the train track kind of led to a TV station. I'm not quite sure where that was going, but that was where we were heading. And while we were running, my knee started hurting. And I was kind of like, oh, I'll just keep running anyway. I suppose if you had the choice, you probably would when you'd probably think, my knee's hurting, stop and check it out, or keep running because otherwise I'll get hit by a train. But anyway, we were running, and eventually we got to the TV station. So I decided that I would pull my trouser leg up and see why my knee was hurting. And basically, a spider had eaten my knee. I'm not really quite sure how the hell a spider can eat your knee, but it had. I mean, there wasn't just like a gap where my knee was. Yeah, these are my sexy, lacy leggings. Look at them and marvel. Anyway, it wasn't just like I kind of like had a gap from here to here, where my knee was no longer there. It was just like a gap of air or something. They kind of like eaten half the flesh around it, and it was kind of gross. And it wasn't that big a spider either. I mean, well, it was quite big, but it wasn't like a tarantula. It wasn't like that big. It was kind of like about that big, really. And it still managed to eat my knee. Seriously, spiders these days, going around eating knees. The craziest dream I've ever had, though, has definitely got to be the one where I dreamt that Bob the Builder came to my house and asked me to look after his machines for the day. There's no like innuendo or anything in that. He literally just wanted me to look after, Scoop, Muck, Dizzy, all them. He just wanted me to look after them for the day. And they kind of had to all come in my house. And we had to try and get Rolly, which, as you can kind of guess by the name, even if you have never watched Bob the Builder, he's basically a giant. One of those giant things with the rollers on the front of them. I think they're actually called rollers. I'm not quite sure, but we had to try and get him up the stairs. Well, why they had to come in the house in the first place, I don't know, but it was weird. And that was probably the craziest dream I've ever had, to be honest. Oh, I forgot about the one watch I had when I was in year 7. And I was in my year 7 science class, and 4 of the people got asked to go out of the classroom and never came back. And then the rest of the school all got murdered, apart from me and my best friend at the time. Do you think that's kind of creepy? Nah, that's normal for my school. I've had other weird dreams, but I can't remember most of them for now. Probably because they're too weird, so I just decided, you know what, I'm going to forget them. But I'll leave it there for now, and if I do think of other dreams I've had, or I have other dream weirds? God, I can't say anything today. Weird dreams in the meantime, I may make another video about dreams. So, goodbye for now.